You're listening to the AFTERBUZZ TV Network, now the largest new media platform on the web, and your #1 source for after-show entertainment.
Very good, Keith. Johnson.
From the AFTERBUZZ Studios in Los Angeles, California, and streaming live on Ustream, this is AFTERBUZZ TV for Terra Nova. We'll break down tonight's episode and get you all the latest Terra Nova news and gossip. If you'd like to buzz in on tonight's show, you can buzz us at 424-256-1729. That's 424-256-1729. And now, picking up where the show leaves off and the buzz continues, it's AFTERBUZZ TV for Terra Nova.
Welcome, everybody. It is Phil Svitek, and I am joined by Kristen, Carney, and Kendra Kabasele.
Yes, you are.
We don't have Gabrielle Loren here today with us. I do want to thank the girls for being here the past 2 weeks, of which I wasn't, holding down the fort, as they say, and doing a good job. But I am excited to be back in this penultimate episode.
Well, we welcome you back.
Thank you.
With open arms.
That's right. And the
bear hug.
I almost thought you were going to say the title of the episode, which is Within.
Within.
I thought you were going to somehow tie that in.
Within.
But
I was. You just got to it before me.
Fair
That's where
enough.
I was.
So yes, episode 10, the penultimate episode. But although in some sense you could think of next week as 2 episodes, but in one, the season finale.
2 hours.
Very exciting. I'm excited for the 2 hours. You guys were very excited when the season premiered with the 2-hour episode.
Yeah.
Isn't it fitting to end it with 2 hours?
In the screening room of the big TV, so it feels like a movie.
Yes.
But I won't be here.
You won't be here.
Yes.
Oh,
I'll
no.
be home
But-
celebrating Kwanzaa.
Oh, really?
I'm just kidding.
Fair enough. But we get ahead ourselves. We digress. Let's see. First off, let's talk about Skye, because obviously she was kind of the big question. For me, I always thought it was the bartender, right? I'll cop to it. I thought it was the bartender who was the spy.
The mole, yeah.
And to get the fact that it is in fact Skye, was it shocking to you guys? Did you?
Well, I think Skye was always a big question mark for me because I couldn't ever get her vibe. Was she a good person? But I will say the surprise for me was Skye being a spy. It's going to be hard to say after a while.
Just call her Bucket.
Yeah, Bucket being a Skye does not rhyme. With good intentions for Terra Nova. I wouldn't have guessed that as much because I thought she actually was probably a bad person. So that was a surprise.
And I mean, for me, what I like just in general is that the show is kind of coming all together. Stuff that we questioned early on is fitting into all these things. And what I like is that she is a multi-layered character. She's doing this for obviously the mother, and as we later find out, she only reveals certain information, nothing that would put them in jeopardy. Like obviously with the convoy today,
Right.
which they had planted that, but it didn't come to fruition.
Right.
So there you go, Kendra. Skye's
There
not
I
so
go.
bad after all.
She was still shady a little bit, so.
Well, I think we'll see.
We found out it was good intention.
Yeah, I think we'll see in the coming episodes, not to skip to predictions, but that she will probably in the finale be punished by the Sixers because I think they're gonna find out she was doing some tattletale.
I mean, everyone's. I think
it's all gonna come to a head.
I mean, in layman's terms, I think Judgment Day is coming.
Yeah.
And then I guess the question though that I'm still trying to think, a lot of things were answered, but why was she so tight with Josh? Why was what I mean? Was she trying to use that as an angle to get in? That's what I'm not quite sure. Looking back on all the episodes,
I think it was also just to save her own face, like to put up this persona, like I'm this good girl, and she she wanted to impress Mr. Shannon, she wanted to impress Josh. She had to kind of keep up appearances with the main people, the key people at Terra Nova. So that's that's a motive.
Yes, I get that. Because in some sense, for me, I was thinking, she should have just kept quiet. But obviously, to gain intel, that wouldn't really work.
Right.
You have to sort of be out there to to gain the trust of people.
Yeah.
Right.
But what do you think she pulled from the Shannon family? Because it doesn't seem like they were doing anything that would be of utmost interest to the Sixers.
But it's always,
think?
whenever the Shannon family is mentioned, whether it's the Sixers or anyone that's sort of shady, as we found out with the bartender today, it always raises our eyebrows and it puts everyone on edge. Like, okay, you're the sheriff's son, you're involved with the sheriff, whatever it may be. It always puts everyone in their sort of place.
Right. Right.
And so, in some ways, if you can win, I mean, Jim Shannon is now Commander Taylor's right-hand man. If you can gain his trust, you gain Commander Taylor's.
Exactly.
What was her? I can't remember very well. What was her in with Commander Taylor? Was it just that he knew her parents well because he seemed to be like a pseudo father to her at the beginning of the series?
I think a lot of that had to do with it. Obviously, as we saw, he says, "Good to see you, Deborah," to the mother. So I think he's always been protected of that. And it could be a side of Commander Taylor, where he's trying to reconcile for the fact that him and his son, that he messed up with his son. And I think there's something genuine to him as well, where he, being an officer, he genuinely cares about his sort of troops. I know they're not necessarily troops in the regular sense of the word, but as he says in episodes past, he used to know every person's name in Terra Nova, which, you know what I mean? Like, think of our sort of generation of the world we live in. I don't know my neighbors' names. Do you?
I don't know her name.
I do.
Fair enough.
I
You're
do
the
know
only
some.
person who does.
It has to take time.
And which is, I think, the interesting line for me this episode was when they're playing chess, Commander Taylor and Skye, and he's like, "Your mind's not on the game," and then she pulls a move and she says, "You didn't see that coming, did you?" And Commander Taylor says, "I guess not." And that is very symbolic of their relationship. She's always been daughter figure to him, and there you go.
I think with Skye answering his question, Jim Shannon's question about where she was, obviously she had to kind of give off those vibes, like, just so that he could pick up on it. But it's always interesting to me when someone says, "Where were you Friday at 11?" I have no idea where I was. I don't even know where I am right now. And like, it would, to me, like the son Josh, if he was like, this isn't really nothing to do with like the plot of the show, but if Josh was like, what was I doing? And then he thought about it. But when you instantly go, "Oh, I was doing this," liar, boom.
And I can
No,
see
right
that.
there.
I mean, the ironic part is that didn't play too much
overanalyzed it.
into it. You know what I mean?
Right.
Obviously, it was just more by the tapes that they found.
Right. It's just an observation.
I mean, I think his father could tell he was lying because, fathers know how you would answer a certain question.
Yeah.
But let me ask you guys this: why wouldn't Skye sort of know that where these cameras are?
Yeah, that's a good point. Like when she was going under to
brush.
leave, when she was going through the brush to actually leave Terra Nova that night that they saw her, don't they watch those tapes? And wouldn't she have gotten caught in the past? And wouldn't he, if the mole, if he wanted to catch the mole, knowing that he had sent the castaway to the Sixers' place, why wouldn't he have just done that sooner and used him to see who was going back and forth?
Well, it's always tough. You can't exactly figure out who the spy is. You know what I mean? Like, if I have a spy somewhere else, I'm gonna keep that and play that close to the chest rather than reveal it to everyone. You know what I mean?
He didn't earn that yet, maybe.
Yeah, I mean, just think of the movie Departed. You know what I mean? I mean, there's so many movies out there that the whole purpose is to figure out who's the mole, and that's why you always play that close.
Yeah.
It's the double agent. You don't you don't reveal that.
Yeah.
So, what else? What I was gonna say about Skye or Bucket? I love Bucket.
Bucket.
She's the bucket list.
By the way, I thought endearing story.
About why, because I had the question when she was first called Bucket. I was like, why Bucket? And
then it came
the
out.
writers probably felt they had to include that in.
No, well, I think they came up with that because of that story. and sort of shifting into the another big aspect of it, Lucas Taylor, the son. I liked that sort of dynamic of them talking and sort of. If you look back at the episode, they didn't really interact much, but when they did, it really revealed a lot. About who Commander Taylor is, and I guess all of what Terra Nova represents and everything that's sort of going on.
Mm-hmm. Well, through his eyes, through Lucas's eyes.
Yes, but then you also get Skye's perspective too.
Yeah.
So you're kind of presented with both, and not that Skye says much. Most of it is just her reacting, but you could tell by her reactions, or you at least try to interpret some things.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think Skye is going to admit to Commander Taylor or someone in Terra Nova that she put together that final piece of the puzzle for Lucas, or do you think she's going to hold that to herself because he said he needed her to complete the puzzle or complete the chip?
I think I guess she could say it. I'd like to think in some ways they just already know that she's responsible for a lot of it. And now that they know sort of circumstance under which she did it, they forgive her.
Because that's going to weigh heavy on your conscience. Like the people who let people through on 9/11 in the airport, a couple, I don't know if one or two committed suicide because of the guilt that went into it. So I wonder if that's just going to play up in the next episode at all. Her guilt for just, we know the reason why she did it because her mom, but then, there's that bigger picture of like, oh my God, these people's lives are like gone because of me, possibly.
I think if it does manifest in that sense, it won't be as like, oh my God, there's a secret I'm keeping. It's going to just more eat at her and sort of people telling her like, no, it's not your fault necessarily, and she's going to go the other way. No, it is. You know what I mean? So it's going to be externalized rather than internally building and building.
Yeah.
But what did you guys think of Commander Taylor's son? We kind of really got.
He's a nut job.
We were talking about him. He is a little.
He's a nut job.
He's scary.
When he first brought up August 2138, what did you guys think happened on that day, or rather month, or whatever?
He was born. I honestly, when he said that, I really had no idea because I thought, well, is he old enough to maybe be born on the 38? But I didn't know.
I thought it was just about the conflict with his father.
Well, it was, and
the day the mother.
And if you kind of go back at it, it's interesting the way Lucas portrays it, and then what is revealed to be what it was. Lucas says, "My father's not a god; he's just a man," etc. So when you think of it in the context that he couldn't stop the mother from dying, you're right. He's not a god. He doesn't have that power. He couldn't do anything about it. I still think I like that final. I like that reveal. It's obviously what we've been waiting for, but I think there's still going to be something else revealed. I think there's just a little bit more that can't be the only explanation.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Did you see the part? I know you stepped out for 1 second. Did you see the part where Commander Taylor said to Skye, "Show me proof that you talked to Lucas"? Did you see that part?
I did not, unfortunately.
Because I was hoping so bad that she was going to use that line. Taylor's not a god. He's a he's a man. Yeah. But instead she used that year, 2139. Because Commander Taylor goes, tell me one thing to make me believe that you were with Lucas. And I just a bit everywhere. She should have revealed that line of he said you're not a god, and then drum up all his emotions. But she did, still drumming up emotions, saying 2139 or whatever year she said, but that's what she said, August 21st. And so he stopped and then just got in the car and went back to Terra Nova. But I thought that would have been badass.
Yeah, and, interesting. It's weird looking at that relationship, and then obviously if you compare it to Jim and his son, and how the Josh was kind of splitting off, but now it's sort of back on the quote good side, if you will.
Well, I wrote down in that scene, Shannon probably doesn't think his son's so bad after all. Maybe I shouldn't maybe I should take him out of his grounding right now. He's at least not building a portal to ruin lives.
Mm-hmm. That is very true.
Or is he? No.
Yeah, right. He's like, nah, he's not smart enough. I know my son well.
When he's grounded.
The reason I say that, that there's something more to the story, I feel like it's whatever Commander Taylor did at the time of the death that really made Taylor, or not Taylor, they're both Taylors, Lucas mad, you know, and Kendra's always been suspect to it, where there's a alternative motive
And
for
it's
Commander.
still there for me.
What do you think it is?
It's underlying, and even in the preview for the next, for the finale, I think something's going to come out. I still do. I still feel.
But what do you think
like,
that is? Like, what is it though? Can you put your finger on it?
I just don't know.
Or
I
point
don't
us
know
in
if
a
he's
direction?
playing both sides. I don't know.
I felt that way for a while until probably 2 episodes ago. I was like, well, maybe he is a good guy, because his son even said it in that last scene. This isn't a utopia, old man. Like, let it go. And so maybe Lucas knows him really well and truly knows that he's aiming for a utopia and to preserve what's good and what's left of the world. Because for a while, I definitely thought Commander Taylor was like sneaky weaky.
Well, I also think that chess scene with Skye was symbolic of a few things. And when, I don't know, he made a move and then she made a move and she said, I bet you didn't expect that, did you? And I guess, I don't remember if he said the exact words he said. But,
He said, no, I didn't.
right. So in a sense, I thought that was something that's going to play out in the bigger picture.
Well, I think
He's still kind of navigating.
I mean, I think he's still kind of navigating, but as every decision he's sort of made, I think he's done with the best intentions. And I think us questioning him early on is because sometimes it is hard to really believe that someone can be that genuine, I guess, and really want this utopia. Whereas in Lucas's case, he just really doesn't believe in this utopia. You know, it's much easier to
He's very
criticize
jaded.
and be on the page of Lucas rather than say, you know what, we can really build this and do something special here.
Yeah.
Lucas is just crazy.
It's easier to be jaded and bitter. I
It
know
is.
from experience. It's always easier. But I think
mean,
Lucas is
crazy.
just so set on proving his dad wrong. I don't think Lucas really cares what the result will be if he's I don't think Lucas is convicted to like saving 2149, or I don't think he has the same goals as the people in 2149 do to end Terra Nova. I think he just wants to mess with his dad.
And
he doesn't
that's-
care at all like
It's just
what the
pretty
bigger picture
short-sighted.
is.
That's where. No,
But
but that's
I think
where
he
the
is short-sighted, because when you're angry or something, you become short-sighted because what's important to you is revenge or whatever is going to fill that like anger void.
That's where the question mark lies too with Commander Taylor. All of that's going to come out about Somalia. The date August. Was it 2138?
August 21,
His
21,
wife's
38.
death.
Because for Lucas to have such a hatred for his father, to want to destroy him, etc., something's going on, something deeper.
I definitely could see. I think, I mean, what it
That's my analysis.
I guess to sort of analyze it, I think what's going to happen is the mother, or what happened rather, was the mother died, and then Commander Taylor tried to be as uplifting as he could about it, but Lucas, the son, was just such a pessimist and just blamed the father, like, you let her go, you said you'd always protect her, or something like that. And I don't know, Commander Taylor might have given him a cheesy line, but she's up in heaven looking over us, and the kid just couldn't buy that, and then was resentful. I mean, it's an age-old story, sons being upset with their fathers. We see that with Josh and Jim.
But there's a spectrum of emotion, to say I'm going to destroy him, that's pretty
Well, that's
rageful.
taken to the extreme. I
Right,
mean,
so
at the end of the day, I don't know if, like,
He never played catch with him, and
well, there's
he
that,
wants
but
to destroy him. How
but
dare you not play catch? Sorry.
but anytime you talk about evil, it's always anything that's a good intention, otherwise good morals taken to the furthest level.
right.
You know what I mean? When I say patriotism, do you guys think that's good or bad?
It can get bad.
Yeah,
Anything
which
can get
turns
bad
into
and extreme.
Nazism.
It's a spectrum.
Because
Right.
I
Right.
mean, literally, that's what it's an extension of otherwise good intentions.
Yeah.
That's what evil is.
Anything that becomes extreme is always going to go awry, is always going to end up bad. Like even with politics, if you're super, super right-winged or you're super, super left-wing, either way, it's like you're forgetting about everything else that's actually happening, and everything always goes bad in an extreme. Except me. I get better.
Fair enough. And then I would like to talk about sort of this more. I mean, I'm really curious who these people are that hired the Sixers and how that all works.
Right, I am too. I'm really I'd like to know more. I wish they did flashbacks more to 2149 because honestly, I'm so curious about the way the writers perceived the world to be in 2149. I know we got a quick glimpse of it in the first episode, but I hope in the finale that they go back and we actually see how we're reminded how bad it is.
Yeah.
And the people that I am kind of confused with how Terra Nova was formed because it seems like the way they've painted people in 2149, at least that have to do with Lucas, they're pretty bad people that don't preserve anything and there's nothing sacred left or anything. But there had to be some people to even go ahead and create Terra Nova. You know, where did those people go from 2149? Are they all in Terra Nova and that's it? Or are there people left that have ideals like that?
I mean, we know Commander Taylor was on the first pilgrimage. So, you know, to Commander Taylor's credit, he's that optimist. So he could have been one of the people spearheading it in some capacity. In terms of, I wouldn't have necessarily wanted to see flashbacks, but just through backstory, kind of interspersed throughout all the episodes. Like we know some things, but I guess it would be nice to know more and really use it as sort of ammunition against each other in arguments and things like that.
Exactly.
But yeah, I mean, I do agree with you. I think we will see something from 2149. Kendra, what about you? What are your thoughts on who these people are? Are these just G-men? Who are these?
G-men. Yeah, just random extras. I'm not sure. I think, not seeing a lot of the backstory is what keeps people coming back.
Mm-hmm.
I think, we'll see more of that, in the finale and if they get picked up for another season.
But are there any hints, again, because what we initially doubted about the show, I think it's paying off and things like that. Is there anything looking back that could give us a hint who these people are?
I think they're...
Because I think there has... I think, now these guys are smart enough to kind of do that. It's not just going to be like, oh, these guys are, whatever, just random men. They're not just going to present that as that.
In my imagination, I picture them to be kind of like just shisty businessmen that just want to rule the world and work at Citibank and ask me for my student loan payment every month, Like, I think they're just kind of like money-hungry guys that will go to any length and will cheat on their wives. And I just picture them to be like immoral people to kind of like a Dr. Evil of sorts. Mm-hmm. Like they just want to take over the world. That's it. And they know that a key to it is going 80 million years ago and starting then because I actually did have this question I wrote down. In the first episode, they said that...
The rock. You're going to bring up the rock.
Yeah. Because they sent that rock and it didn't touch time or change time. However, I think it was Lucas who said during the episode that the people in 2149 want to change the past to predict the future.
Change the past, change the future. Mm-hmm. And that was the line in also that first episode.
Control the past.
Control the past, control the future.
Yeah.
Right, but they said in the first episode that they couldn't control the future by changing the past because they sent that rock through it and it didn't alter it at all. So I'm confused if that is actually possible or if I'm just misunderstanding or...
I think something's going to come up. I don't think it's going to be to the extent of like, Lucas just figured out something in the equation that can make it do that.
Or the rock's still traveling and it's going to hit someone eventually.
Yeah,
Ouch.
I think there is some sort of explanation to that, and I think they will bring it up, and that's going to be the big thing of that.
Yeah. It has to be.
But I want to know who these people are. Why don't we know?
I know.
There has to be an indication. Is it Malcolm's people? Is it the bartenders' people?
Because they're almost like more badass than the Sixers. Well, they're much more badass than the Sixers because they're the ones controlling the Sixers. So I'd like to see who.
They're probably Lucas's people.
Well,
I think they're Lucas's boss. Yeah.
Yeah. So
but maybe it seems that way. See, everything's not what it seems.
No, he said the people I'm working for to make this.
Yeah.
This is sort of a prediction, but in the sort of imminent war, do you think Lucas is going to all of a sudden realize his mistake and turn and try to help Commander Taylor?
You know what I think is going to happen is I think he's going to, it's almost going to be this moment that makes him really vulnerable where he has a knife to his throat or a gun to his chest and he not wets his pants, but so to speak, at that moment doesn't stand up and be a man and he'll
I think what he's going to realize, as you said, he's been very short-sighted, and his whole goal is revenge, revenge, revenge. And when his head clears and he sees this sort of chaotic revenge that he started, he's going to realize, wait, this is what I was doing this for. This isn't right. You
know what I picture it as? I picture it from like Indiana Jones with Vigo, the evil guy, and his little artist who like controls him. And then once he gets hit with the
Temple of Doom, you're talking about.
No, Ghostbusters.
Indiana
Oh,
Jones.
did I say Indiana Jones? Oh my God, that was really confusing. I meant Ghostbusters. I think I was just already sprayed with the Ghostbusters.
Okay, so
stuff.
Ghostbusters 2.
Yeah, Vigo. And when, you know, the art guy that controls him, when he gets sprayed with the pink stuff, goo, he's like, he wakes up and he's like in this pure like,
what did I do?
What did I do wrong? Who are you guys? I love you. I feel like that's what's going to happen to Lucas. Okay. Except just not with the cute accent.
Fair enough. Any last sort of thoughts on this episode, just in general?
I like to see the change, the shift in characters, like the bartender, for example. Even though that was like a small example, he started off kind of as this tough guy, and now he wants Jim's approval. So I kind of just like to see him go, "Oh, Mr. Shannon, sure, give him. Here you go. You know, you can have this." So I kind of just like seeing the change in characters. I like seeing Skye evolve because the whole time I did think she, regardless that I didn't know she was the mole to begin with. Once I found out she was the mole last episode, I thought for sure she was a mole in like a way where she was totally all about it. Yeah. So I liked kind of seeing that shift. So I like the movement within the characters. And not the bowel movement, but just the movement.
What did you guys think of the real quick? We didn't discuss this, but the subplot of Maddie and her trying to,
to barter.
Yeah, she had to barter.
It taught me something. Like I am so not business savvy that in that scene I was like, oh yeah, that's a good idea.
Well, just I liked seeing it, but it was kind of
You were frustrated.
I was frustrated in the sense like I would have loved Maddie to like puncture a hole into the wheel,
yeah,
so that she could
moment.
Yeah, so she could offset it. But it actually ended up working really nice. Where she obviously had to end up at the bartender's place, and then he was suspect of like, oh, wait, you're the sheriff's daughter. All right, here you go. Yeah. And she just says, would you like a wheel?
Yeah.
So I thought that was kind of the lighter side of this episode.
Yeah. I liked that they kind of revealed that the deal that Skye and Mira had was informational. That was kind of a little reveal, like a small one.
That's true.
As opposed to any kind of other.
And, you know, I love how that's how it always turns off. You know, like, okay, we have this deal. But the person of power all of a sudden says, like, nope, all right, you got to do this much more, and just dangling that in front of their faces. And, like, what if the wind was supposed to come and blew this medicine away for your mother?
Right.
That drug that Mira had for her mom looked like cocaine. She was like, oh, what is this? It's just like, oh, it's a happy drug.
Well, they live in the woods.
Right.
Anyway, any other last thoughts in general? Before we head into, we'll come back with DL Dinosaur of the Week. We'll have some news and gossip, and then we'll talk about the big predictions for the season finale so we can all be wrong next week.
Or you guys could.
You're going to be right, Kendra?
No, I'm kidding.
Fair enough.
No, you're not.
AFTERBUZZ TV.
Hi, I was once like you, a lazy, angry loner whose only joy was watching TV and surfing the net. And, like you, after I'd see one of my favorite TV shows, I'd be so excited and have so many questions that I'd actually have to talk to my douchebag coworkers about it at the water cooler. Then I discovered AfterBuzzTV.com. AfterBuzz TV produces after-show webcasts and podcasts for TV series of all kinds, like post-game wrap-up shows for all your favorite TV shows. AfterBuzz TV hosts are industry insiders who break down episodes of shows, take calls from fans, and interview cast and crew from each series, with over 60 different after shows, from Boardwalk Empire to American Idol to Vampire Diaries to Real Housewives and more. Now, after a night of TV, I can ignore my stupid coworkers, who I hate, and go straight to my desk and watch or listen to all my favorite AfterBuzz TV after shows, and have all the TV fan interaction I need. Thank you, AfterBuzz TV.
AfterBuzz TV. What do you want to buzz about?
I'd like to buzz about the DL Dino of the week.
It's a smooth intro. I like that.
I know it's much more hip.
Yeah, I like it.
DL Dino
Read
of the week.
DL Dino to the tune.
All right, Kendra,
It's like
get.
porno.
Do you have the instrumental?
We gotta get
I'll
the.
send that over for you tonight.
Okay, thanks. With the mix. But, yeah. Okay, so
Kendra's got a hot date.
Jess, you cue up the Jurassic Park theme song.
Yes.
That'd
yes.
be fun to do DL
Yes.
Dino to that.
You'll see a tear stream down my face. I love that movie.
okay. So today's DL dinosaur, as you can see up on the screen, is a floating head. No, it's
He had no body.
it's called the Spinops sternbergorum.
It's basically a triceratops with 7 horns.
Well, it's funny that you say that because it actually comes from the same dinosaur group Triceratops came from.
I'm a
Okay.
smart
Nice.
man.
Good job.
I'm a smart man. I'm learning my history.
Yes. Well, you're in the future because you were ahead of me. But this one is actually from an article from last week, and it mentioned. Sorry, the sound got all dramatic. That fossilized skull fragments of this dinosaur is actually a new dinosaur species announced this week, well, which was last week. And they collected dust in a British museum for nearly a century before scientists were able to analyze and describe them.
See, Jess, you could turn it up louder. It's okay.
Yeah. Get that bass booming.
There we go.
I don't even hear it. Anyways.
That's a joke.
So paleontologists are hypothesizing that Spinops, which lived between 74 and 76 million years ago, could be the missing link between 2 previously known species, the ceratopsians, the same dinosaur group the Triceratops came from.
Interesting.
So just briefly, I'll just fill you in that it was a plant-eating dinosaur that weighed more than a ton and was about 20 feet long. Am I still in the same? Yeah. What's more, the specialist said that because the fossils were found with a lot of other bones, the Spinops likely traveled in herds. So they had a lot of friends.
Very inspiring.
Very social. They went out for
Yeah.
drinks after work.
Yes, and apparently they had blue patches on their skin.
That's very cool. I like that. Some camouflage.
Yeah.
Yeah, another, I guess, prediction of what it looked like.
My dad is a biology teacher. Interesting enough, none of that knowledge passed to me. However, he did watch one of the shows that I had posed a question where I said, how do dinosaurs that were so large find enough sustenance from just leaves? And he said, well, Kristen, he sat me down one day. He lit a cigar, and he's like, let me tell you about how things work. And he just said that there's so many nutrients
Oh yeah.
in the green, in the green, that it actually can sustain them.
Oh yeah. The shit we eat.
I had no idea.
You could eat the shit we eat, and then you'd be dead. And like, yeah,
Right.
we're killing ourselves.
Right.
have
If we
one
gave
more.
them a Big Mac, they'd keel over.
One more interesting bit of info. The Spinops sternbergorum fossils
Sounds Jewish.
were unearthed in 1916 in Alberta, Canada, my homeland, by Charles Sternberg and his son Levi while doing work for what was then called the British Museum. A letter dated in 1918 found in the museum's archives called the Sternbergs' findings nothing but rubbish. So that's why the specimen sat untouched for 90 years.
Wow.
Interesting.
Very
Is that-
interesting.
You okay?
Yeah. Someone just got really mad and jealous.
Yeah.
90 years.
Yeah.
Jesus.
It's a long time to sit on some gold.
Yeah.
I
So much
know.
more epic when you guys do it over the song.
It is.
I know. Why?
I
You
mean,
should-
like,
We should do the whole entire podcast over this.
See, Gabby tries to take my show away, and then she tries to be cute and figure out new things. Nah.
Wait,
We're
Wait, what?
Gabby.
Gabby.
I'm blaming that on Gabby.
she can't. She's not here to defend herself.
That's right. I'm gonna.
Text her.
No. I'm reading. I'm reading for news and gossip for my part.
Oh.
I'm gonna read some tweets about Terra Nova. So the first one is in Spanish, I hope. Quien lo diera dos amigos trabajando juntos XD Terra Nova.
My friends work something Terra Nova.
Oh, I see.
About house, yeah.
Let's
Right?
see. I mean, just in general, just kind of going down this. First off, it seems a lot of college students aren't studying and rather watching Terra Nova. Hashtag such a nerd. But that's good to see that people are, becoming this excited and, really want to see the, as they say, epic conclusion.
Yeah.
And I think it will be. I think it's going to be better than Lord of the Rings.
I'd agree with you, but I've never seen Lord of the Rings.
Before we get into predictions, though, let's. What do you have for news and gossip? You had some.
Viewers have been wondering about the fate of the characters, but Fox has deferred decisions on an extremely expensive show that they will come out with their decision following the finale. And with that news, Jason O'Mara, the star, Jim
So this
Shannon,
is in regards to whether or not there will be a season 2.
right. Jim Shannon, Jason O'Mara, also known as, tweeted last week, decision to pick up Terra Nova, hashtag, for season 2 deferred to New Year by Fox Broadcasting. Everyone involved remains confident and optimistic. So I don't know if they're getting news that no one else gets or if they just are feeling optimistic and positive, but we'll see. I don't know.
Why don't we take the before we go to predictions? Let's take this moment and say, you know what? I'm glad we do what we do here with AfterBuzz because we're very much supporting the show, and hopefully people see that there is this sort of buzz and talk about all of it, and that is a worthwhile show. Speaking of which, to help show those people at Fox that this is a worthwhile show, if you really love it, comment on our iTunes, tweet us, etc.
Yes.
Use Fox, mention us, so that way people know. Okay, this show is worthwhile to keep.
Yeah, if you make comments, it's like doing your part. Like if you feed a child for $10 a day, like you feel like you're not doing anything, but you really are.
Exactly.
So if they comment, they really are adding to the momentum.
Yeah, that would be interesting to actually see the hashtag Terra Nova trend. I don't think I've seen that yet.
Well, let's make a trend. Let's make AfterBuzz trend. And hey, honestly, tell your friends. Like if you like Terra Nova, if your other friends like Terra Nova, but if they aren't listening to us, let them know that we're out there. And again, trust me, it will only help. And it's the smallest thing we can ask. We don't ask you for money. We don't have 8,000 commercials during this whole episode. Our opinions may not always be right, but we love giving them nonetheless. So please support us in that way.
Yes.
But with that, why don't we get straight into predictions? So we can be wrong on that for next week.
And now, your AfterBuzz TV predictions.
I'm just going to go ahead and say a lot of the budget probably went towards this finale 2-hour episode,
Yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of explosions.
which I'm excited for. Again, this is going to be better than Lord of the Rings. And I'm only stealing that from South Park because that's what they always measure anything up there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is even more epic than Lord of the Rings' final epic battle. But as I kind of also predicted, I think Lucas will sort of turn about 3/4 into the episode and say, "What have I done?"
Yeah. Yeah.
But where will he say that from? You think he's going to come back?
I think he's gonna come back.
Yeah, he's going to come back with them full
Or
force. He's
will-
going to be like leading the charge.
I think he'll have to die.
Or will they show a snippet from where he's gone?
No, I think
He's coming back.
He's coming back.
He wants his father to watch it all go down, and he wants to watch his father watch it.
Yeah.
He said. I mean, he
has
said
to-
it a bunch.
He had like that can't be the last time we've seen Lucas.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
just
No, I
not
just
story
mean-
wise. It's just not happening.
I don't mean it's the last time we'd see him. I just didn't know where we would see him.
He's
Would
gonna
he
be back.
Yeah.
Because what if he goes, meets Kara? Maybe she can't come back. Maybe we have to see that back there. I don't
No,
know.
I
Lucas
think-
doesn't know Kara though.
I thought he knew everyone.
Well, no. I mean, Kara only has something to do with Josh because they were boyfriend girlfriend. So I don't think Lucas would be interested at all in someone named Kara. I think he's more interested in
No,
like
but they might cross paths just coincidentally. I don't know.
I think the final battle has to take place. Who did that?
Jesse. Excuse you.
Sound effects. From the
I'll take it.
We know the final battle has to take place in Terra Nova, so there's no way that Lucas is not going to be part of that. And I think,
No,
I mean, if there is any resilience on his part, he's going to be dragged into it by the Sixer bosses or whatever you want to call him. Because if he knows how to communicate back and forth between the worlds, they're gonna have to take him so that way they know they can get back to 2149 if need be.
Yeah. I'll go on the record. I say 100% Lucas wants to see his dad see it.
Yes.
And I feel like there's going to be like sparring between Lucas and Commander Taylor where maybe they go, it's like in Gangs of New York in the opening scene with Daniel Day-Lewis and
The young Leo, but not Leo.
yeah, but Liam Neeson, when they're the two powerful guys, one on this end and one on this end, and they ultimately have to fight, and one takes another's life, and that's just like that ultimate showdown. And so I think there's definitely going to be an ultimate showdown, but I do think Lucas will probably not get killed. I think he'll probably like cower down to his knees and be like, "Daddy, I love you."
Interesting. Do we think the portal's gonna? Do we think this is the end of the portal? Is the portal gonna get destroyed?
I think that's a possibility.
And then
Towards the
season
end.
2 is gonna be about I don't know, rebuilding, or I don't know.
Because someone will get trapped
Yeah.
on the other side.
I'm excited to see a T-Rex. By the way,
Me too. I've been waiting.
we got some
You seem
brontosauruses.
excited.
T-Rex. T-Rex.
Uh,
That was a cool shot they
That
showed
was.
at the end of the
Mhm.
yeah.
I think that was Steven Spielberg knowing. Okay,
Yeah.
we gotta get some
Gotta
T-Rexes
bring
here.
out the
Yeah.
big- yeah.
Any other sort of thoughts that you guys have?
I'm curious what's going to happen with Mira, if there's going to be any resolve with her and her daughter. If because Lucas has been working so closely with Mira that maybe he knows how much she wants to see her daughter.
It's true.
So maybe he'll bring her back. But maybe it wouldn't be the best time to bring her back because it's going to be a war and maybe he doesn't want her to get killed. But I think I'm hoping there'll be some sort of something with Mira and her daughter.
Mm-hmm. Very good.
Oh,
Well, you can, as we sort of wrap out this episode, feel free to tweet us your thoughts. Why don't we go around the room, starting with you?
Tweet us your thoughts about what you think about my hat, but also maybe about Terra Nova. Not as important, but tweet at me at Kristen Carney, and it's KristenCarney, and go to my blog, sweatthesmallstuffwithkristen.com, and share it with your friends because your friends deserve to know about cool things too.
Kendra?
My Twitter handle is at Kendra Kabasele. It's KendraKabasele, which is the same thing as my website, kendrakabasele.com. Everything's on there, my blogs, other stuff that I'm doing. That's it.
Fair enough. And for me, just keep checking AfterBuzz. That's what I do. By the way, for the few people that cross over from Terra Nova to the modeling world, you guys can catch these guys tomorrow on Scouted. They have a great interview coming up. Scott Lips. Did I say his
Yes.
name correctly?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah,
I
we're
did.
excited about
Again, the 1% of you that actually know the modeling world can tune into that
Yeah,
tomorrow.
they overlap.
Thank you for listening. We'll be back next week with the 2-hour season finale. Ours won't be 2 hours.
Or will it?
All right, Jesse, take us out of here, brother.
From producers Kevin Undergaro and Phil Svitek, engineer DJ Jesse Janity, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. If you have questions or comments, be sure to buzz us at info@AfterBuzzTV.com. And you can find us on Facebook or follow us on Twitter by searching for AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
Sixers.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.